live on Facebook, and now YouTube's still thinking about it. YouTube says we're live. Hey, everybody. We're going to be recording episode 568, I think it is. Yeah, 568 here in just a few seconds. As you can see, if you're looking at me, this is a little bit different area that I'm used to broadcasting in. I am at the home offices in the great state of Washington for the Second Amendment Foundation. Let me see here. Looking at that's all good. I think, guys, I need to set this up, and we'll be ready to record. There it is, Polite Society Podcast. Find posts. Okay. And turn it on and view. Ta-da! How about that? I love it when technology works. I want to remind everybody before we get started recording here, while we're live, you can comment on either the YouTube or the Facebook video. Either one. If you comment on them, I get software that picks it up, and I'll put your comment on the air. We were scheduled to have a guest tonight. That guest had an emergency, had to bail. Excuse me. And so it's just the four of us tonight. So no guest. This is probably going to be a pretty quick show. I'm expecting it to come into it somewhere between about an hour to an hour and 15 compared to our 90-minute show that we usually do. So I think on my end, guys, we're ready to fly. How about Amanda, Amy, Rob? We all ready to go?
I'm strapped in.
All right. All right, then we're going to start recording in 5, 4, 3. Why did that not kick?
Hi, this is Matt from Geeks, Gadgets, and Guns, and you're listening to another fantastic show on the Self-Defense Radio Network. Visit selfdefenseradio.net to check out all the other great shows.
Treat every firearm as if it's loaded.
Never point a firearm at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy.
Keep your finger off the trigger until you are on target and ready to fire.
Always be sure of your target and what lies beyond it.
Hi, and welcome to the Polite Society Podcast, powered by the Second Amendment Foundation. We're recording this one on Monday, December the 7th, 2020. I'm Paul Lathrop.
I'm Amanda Suffolk, and on tonight's show, we're going to wonder, when 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and 20-year-olds lost their human rights, like the right to protect themselves and their family.
I'm Amy Dillon, and we will talk about Florida and Michigan headed in different directions on Campus Carry.
I'm Rob Morse, and we welcome another 3.5 million gun owners who joined us in November. So climb aboard.
Strap in.
And hang on.
Episode 568 of the Second Amendment Foundation's Polite Society Podcast starts right now. All right, we are back. It's Monday. This is the 7th of December. It is, of course, it is Pearl Harbor Day. But before we get into news, like we usually do, let's go ahead and go around and see who's been doing what. Rob, as usual, I'm going to throw to you first, man. What have you been up to?
Carried every day. I did some gun-related things. Bear with me here. I wrote some checks to politicians in Georgia. I think that's gun-related. I wrote some checks to some Second Amendment advocates whose offices are in the state of Washington, but they've been active from coast to coast. I'm going to call that gun-related. I had to call my state representative about delays in processing my concealed carry application. I don't think I'm special. I just need to get it from the horse's mouth and probably from a lieutenant in the state police at how bad the delays are so that I can write an article about my experience. By the way, when your state representative calls, the police get back to you, which they don't when you call. I dry practiced. I was a line coach again for a local concealed carry class, and I got to have lunch with Amy and Dave. Amy, how have you been?
I've been good. I was about to say I got to have lunch with Rob and Jenny since I was last on. Not doing much, just nothing too crazy, I should say. Just training, writing. I do want to talk about, if you can see in the background behind me, I've got a rifle, 2 rifles set up here. And I just want to let our listeners and viewers know that this is a promotion I'm doing for Mr. Gun Official, who's on Instagram, if you want to look him up. He's doing a drawing for this entire set, if you can see behind me. This is an F1 firearms rifle, and the other one is a special edition for Matt Axelson, if you remember that story. I'm not going to pick it up, but it's in the box here. But this is about a $10,000 value package, and we're selling tickets for $25 each. We are doing a special buy 5, get 5 free today. The drawing will be December 24th, so there's still plenty of time to get your tickets. And if you want to ask more questions about the giveaway, more details, you can contact me on any of my social media or go to Mr. Gun Official's Instagram page. So. And it was nice seeing Rob and Jenny. That was probably the highlight of my last 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks. But other than that, it's been good. Amanda, what's going on with you?
Well, I spent some time on the phone today with legislators, and we're having conversations about both the Ohio constitutional carry bill that has been in one committee or another for most of a year and a half, and then the Second Amendment sanctuary state bill that probably will have died in this legislative session and has to be renewed. It was crazy because they on the Second Amendment sanctuary state bill, they asked me to testify, and then they sent me a series of questions. I kind of think I'm fairly gun savvy, gun knowledge savvy, gun history savvy. And I would have flunked this test. There was no doubt about it. And if you guys want to later, I can share a couple of the questions because, man, oh man, I was like, I'm not doing so good here. I'm back to work full time, so in a no gun zone. So I'm doing the disarmament dance, if there is such a thing, pretty much on a daily basis. There is. So, Paul, what about you?
Well, as I alluded to before we went live, before we went to recording, I should say, just when we went live on social media, I am, and as anybody can see that's watching, I am not in my usual studio. I'm at the SAF headquarters in Washington and Washington State, and had an adventurous weekend coming out here. Had a great drive. I haven't driven for an extended period of time, for quite a while. I when I retired from trucking, I just have been working from home, so it was good to let the wheels roll underneath me a little bit. Got to see my brother-in-law on the way out here, and he's a really, really big Second Amendment activist too. So yeah, up in northern Idaho. And just enjoyed spending time with him, and got here this morning. And I live in the Central Time Zone, okay, and because my wife's job starts early, I get up early because I like to spend time with my wife as she's getting ready for work. And so that means normally she gets up between 3 and 4 in the morning, and so I get up between 3 and 4 in the morning, and I go get a lot of work done. And I get that work done before anybody ever shows up out here on the West Coast. Well, just because your body moves time zones doesn't necessarily mean that your clock resets to that time zone. So I'm here. I check into the hotel last night, and this morning I wake up at about 4 o'clock in the morning in the Central Time Zone. And I'm just bored out of my mind before it comes to 6 o'clock Central, or 6 o'clock Pacific time.
Pacific.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here waiting for somebody to show up, and they're like, have we got a situation we have to deal with? You know, somebody's seeing a car when we get here. That never happens. And so, but anyway, no. Other than making the people that work here early in the morning very nervous, I've had a great day today. I got to actually meet and talk to face-to-face people that I only usually have contact with through email or maybe text messages, and rarely a brief phone call. So it's been a great day. That's kind of what's been up with me. Let's see what's up next in show notes. Generally, I ask if anybody has any training they want to talk about, but with COVID, I don't think that's coming back online anytime real quick. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's talk about the Self-Defense Radio Network. For those of you watching on live stream, you can see that all your pro freedom podcasts in one place. Of course, we're there. Self-Defense, Gun Stories, Geeks, Gadgets, and Guns. I haven't mentioned those guys in a while. They just came out with a new episode here very recently. Lots of great shows. More is coming. The Armed Society podcast. As soon as we get 10 episodes up, that'll be up there too, along with other shows that are coming. So I do recommend you go to selfdefenseradio.net or sdrn.us. Both of them take you to the same place, and check out the network if you would, please. I think that's going to do it for this opening segment. We're going to go ahead and jump to break. As I said, our guest had to take a pass, so we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the news, and we'll get back to that right after this.
This portion of the Polite Society podcast is brought to you by the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. If you carry a defensive handgun, you need protection from the aftermath of prosecution. Even if you do everything right, you can be the victim of an overzealous prosecutor or even be falsely accused. That is where the ACLDN comes in. They provide immediate assistance when you need it most. If you find yourself under arrest, they immediately pay bail money and the retainer for your attorney. Additional funds are available for trial and civil proceedings. Beyond the money, they have far and away the best team in the industry, providing you invaluable information and training DVDs that are included with your membership and who stand ready to work with your lawyer on your defense. People like Massad Ayub, John Farnham, James Fleming, Tom Givens, Emmanuel Capelson, Dennis Tueller, and led by Network President Marty Hayes. Initial membership is only $135 for your first year, and you get 8 incredible training DVDs and other educational material when you join. If you don't have tens of thousands of dollars to defend yourself at your disposal right now, you need to be a member of the ACLDN. Go to armedcitizensnetwork.org and become a member today. And please mention that you heard about them on the Polite Society podcast.
And welcome back. This is the news segment of the Polite Society podcast presented by the Second Amendment Foundation. Let's go ahead and get into news. Rob, I think you claimed the first story in the news segment. So go ahead.
Because this is personal to me, Paul. If you don't mind, Florida State Representative Anthony Sabatini filed his campus carry proposal. He's done that before.
Rob, you're breaking up really bad.
What should I do, Paul?
Shut video down.
Yeah, try shutting your video down, bud.
We'll try it once more. Now that you can see our good side. Florida State Representative
No, I'm getting
Sabatini.
nothing, bud. Shoot. This is live TV. I'm sorry, folks.
Somebody else get
Yeah, let me jump over to show notes here. Florida State Representative Anthony Sabatini refiled his campus carry proposal. The previous attempts did not receive a hearing in 2019 or 2020. The proposal would allow people with concealed carry permits to carry guns on Florida college and university campuses. The president of the Florida Senate took a few $100,000 from Michael Bloomberg, so pro-gun bills were pushed into kill committees.
I wonder if that will happen again this year.
Yeah, one does have to wonder if there's a trend with that. And one also has to wonder how this guy keeps taking Bloomberg money as a Republican and keeps getting reelected.
Part of the answer is he's the head of the Senate, and he passes some of that money out to other legislators who then continue to vote for him as the head of the Senate because, hey, he helped me get reelected.
Yeah.
It's just the people of Florida who are getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the polite way of saying that.
I was really in a corner there.
It was a 4-letter word. Wanted to say,
hurt.
Got it.
Hurt. Yes.
Right.
All right. Amanda, I think you're up next in show notes.
Yeah, so the Michigan Supreme Court will hear an appeal to a lower court decision upholding a ban on possession of firearms on the University of Michigan's campus. The court is asking the party appealing to address whether immediate or strict judicial scrutiny applies to this case and whether the university's anti-gun policy reflects historical or traditional firearms restrictions within a university setting. This is a misinterpretation of the SCOTUS precedent. The court is attempting to reframe Heller. The problem with the Michigan Supreme Court position is that test, history, and tradition standards require examining of history and tradition preceding the nation's founding. There is no history or tradition of banning carry on campus in colonial America. So the rule, like all restrictions on firearms possession on school properties, is blatantly unconstitutional. So, Rob?
This is not merely an academic or judicial question. I have friends who were raped on campus, several of them, and they've testified in front of legislators to say, hey, you guys disarmed me. In both instances, when they testified, they said, yeah, but weren't you safer? It would have been worse if you had a gun. And in both cases, they said, my attacker didn't need to take my weapon. He brought his own. He doesn't obey your laws. And the legislatures uniformly can't hear that. They look away, la-da-da. No, that didn't happen. My idea is still a good one, even though it fails time after time. Amanda, what do you think about this bill?
Well, the part that I don't understand is why do they keep deeming that campuses are special areas and that makes them different from any other area that adults move around in? I can understand it when they're talking about, I don't like it, but I can almost understand it when they talk about school and school children. But this is campus where adults are. Amy?
I was just wanting to say that I agree with you, Amanda. I never really understood the logic behind the argument of, when it comes to campus carry. It seems that people say, well, these crimes are happening on a college campus, and we know that these crimes are happening, but yet the art from the other side not wanting to pass campus carry is, well, that the criminal might just use it and make the situation more deadly. I've never understood that logic, and it's like what you said. A campus is just like any other location where a person who lawfully possesses a firearm or has the right to carry there, decide how to defend themselves.
Yeah, we're getting some.
That drives me crazy.
Go ahead, Rob. All right, guys.
The
I'm
part
making an
that drives
executive
me
decision.
crazy about this issue,
guys.
is
Rob, I think you had something to say.
All right, for anybody who can.
Oh, you want me to drop out?
I'm gonna shut down the broadcast. We're having obvious major technical issues. This isn't good enough. It's just not good enough.
Right.
I am sorry for those who expected a show tonight. I did try to bring one, but we've got difficulties that we seem to not to be able to overcome. Do please tune in next week on Monday, and I will be home, and we'll have a live show from home. But I'm sorry, we've got just too many technical difficulties with connections tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and call it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and
you just need the superpower from your home studio as opposed to the portable power that you can be on the road with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Iron Horseman, and I'm gonna fire this up while we're still live. I stopped recording, but Iron Horseman says, I think YouTube is messing with you. It could very well be. But it's on my end too. It's not. I notice it before it goes to YouTube, so it's a connection issue. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, and